Hi, everybody. Welcome back. And if this is your first time, welcome. My name is Max Haddad, and you have a problem. You do. It's tough. I'm sorry for what you're going through. I went to prison myself, so I don't know exactly what it's like to be on the outside looking in, but I do know the struggles that my parents had. We talked about them, the issues that they had figuring out where to send me money, figuring out how to send me money, figuring out how to figure that stuff out. Where was I? Did I get transferred from jail to prison? What's going on? Does he have access to a phone? Can we message him? Do they have tablets that some prisons have? How much money is enough money? How much money is too much money? How can I help my loved one buy commissary, food, hygiene products while they're in prison? These were all the questions that we had. The entire time leading up to me being incarcerated, we were near panicked about the emotional end of things, which is appropriate. It is scary to go to prison. It's scary to watch somebody go to prison. The crime being committed, then they're arrested, then sentencing. I don't have to tell you, I'm getting anxious just thinking about it. It sucked. It made me feel awful for months just waiting for it. So no, we weren't planning on how to handle all this stuff. I think the one thing I said to my mom about the logistics before I went in was, as soon as I can, I'll call you. That's it. I didn't know what else to say. I had never done long periods of time before. I had gone in for a week there, 2 weeks here, that sort of thing, but not to big boy prison. I didn't know how to do it. So today I'm going to try to help you make this process as smooth as possible. Spoiler alert, it's not going to be perfect. First thing you need to know is what would take 2 days on the outside is going to take a week or 2 weeks on the inside. The prison system is bogged down. A lot of it is bureaucratic. People in charge are focusing on stuff that they don't need to focus on and not focusing on other areas that really need their attention. Letters that you send, they have to be looked through, and be prepared that anything you're going to write is possibly going to be read by some strange man in a guard's uniform that then interacts with the person you're sending the letter to. So if you don't feel comfortable or safe writing, yeah, the guard's there, I heard they suck and they're fat and gross, like whatever, don't write it. Write what you're comfortable having read by somebody who you don't know and will never meet, but who also has control over your loved one's comfort. Sometimes the letter won't make it to them, right? If you're sending them something, not only does it take 2 weeks sometimes, but sometimes they just, whoops, disappear. Who knows what happened? It's like awful black magic. Check this out. Aside from stuff I can't explain, I have had letters taken from me, not taken from me, never given to me, but told, hi, you can't have your letters, but they did send them, so enjoy the thought. For perfume being sprayed on them. For the paper not having lines on it, for the paper having lines on it, but being pink or yellow, for being written in anything other than black pen. That means my mom wrote me a letter in pencil. No, sorry, ma'am. She would write in different colored markers to make them just slightly more interesting because she knew how drab everything I was looking at was. I have an awesome mom, and those letters got taken. Your best bet to getting what you're writing to the person you care about as quick as possible is find their DOC number, their Department of Corrections number, which I will help you with, their bunk number. They'll probably have to tell you, so like what dorm they're in, what bed they're in, even if they're on the top or bottom bunk. That's something that could be a little bit more difficult to get, but they can tell you it. They being really anybody at the prison, but your loved one can. Everything needs to be written clearly. I don't need to tell you that, but it does. Make sure that the paper it's written on is standard lined notebook paper and not with extra perforation shit that could be ripped off. Make sure it's as clean as can be. And black pen. I know I just said that, but save yourself the heartache of knowing that something that you sent 2 weeks ago that was already going to take forever never made it. It's a nightmare trying to communicate with each other, sending these heartfelt, support letters and them just not arriving. It sucks. So do yourself a favor and write their DOC number, their location, their bed number, and obviously the address of the prison you're sending it to. As far as DOC numbers go, and as far as location of your inmate, right? Typically, you can find those on a government website. I'm in Indiana. There's a website in Indiana where you can type in someone's full name, and it's going to tell you their DOC number and what prison or jail they're located on. That's going to change by your state. The best way to get that number is to call either the local jail. I hate to say Google, but typically it's one of the top search results. If anybody watching this video is having issues finding that website specific to your state, comment down below. I will find it for you. I promise. If you need my help, reach out and I will help you. I don't care what it is. Let me know. So you can find that information on these websites. You fill in their full name and it's going to pull up, like I said, the prison that they're at, all of that. Now, if your loved one shows up on this site one day, right? They've been sentenced, they go to jail, they're waiting on being transferred to big boy prison or big gal prison, and all of a sudden they just, boop, disappear. They're not on the website anymore. Don't panic. Nothing bad happened. Penitentiaries, state, they make it as mysterious as they can when they are transferring a prisoner from jail to where they're going to end up, the penitentiary, right? From a county jail to their temporary permanent residence, okay? And the reason for that is they think that somebody's mom is going to crash her, buggy into the armored car that's taking them to the prison, and it's going to be this big Italian job jailbreak. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid that people are going to be escorted on the way to prison, and then somebody's going to try to break them out, right? People that probably willingly showed up for a court date, they're afraid that they're waiting for their transfer to prison to break out. Whatever. That's what it is. So when I was transferred, and this is their MO, this is how it happens. When I was transferred from county jail to prison, they did it at 3 a.m. I asked, can I make a phone call like, hi, can I let my loved ones know I'm going? Don't expect a phone call from me from the jail tomorrow. They said, no, they're not going to let the person, your inmate, they're not going to let them call you. You're not going to be notified, any of that. And that is okay. It's scary, anxiety inducing. Just know that that is how it is. There's been no mistake. When they plop out of the website, you can't find them. Nobody died. Nobody died. They're being transferred. That's it. The cops are pretending that they're secret agents for a few hours. It's okay. Just let them have their fun. The person will get to the prison, and there's a really, really, really good chance that that process, even if it's only a 2-hour drive, is going to take 2 days, because your inmate is going to be in transfer, but really just in a room downstairs at the jail, sitting for 12 hours, waiting for the ride to show up, shackled, all that, paperwork, 2 more hours, get in the car, finally make the 2-hour drive, arrive at the prison, hours and hours and hours of waiting, hours and hours and hours of getting their jumpsuits allocated to them, their bedding, their whatever, state-provided hygiene stuff, all of that. And there's just a lot of waiting in between. So again, you're like, they're only, at most, it could be 5 hours away. It's taken 40 hours. It's just because the system is slow. That's it. That's it. It's okay. Another thing to keep in mind, there's a great chance that they're not going to be able to call you. Okay? So for a while, you see they've been transferred. They're officially showing up in this system as inmate at so-and-so penitentiary. Where I was at, and this has been true for every single person I talked to about it that's done time, you showed up, you got your bed, you go to it like an orientation dorm or like a probationary cell block, and you don't get phone access for about 2 weeks. Okay, they know you're there. You have to file paperwork to say, hi, I would like to continue a relationship with my loved ones. Then they have to process that, right? So once they've processed that, they've cleared that because and make sure, before I forget, make sure the person going in knows everyone's phone number that they need to know before they go in. They are probably not going to be able to write it on a piece of paper and bring that with them. There's a good chance that's going to be considered not necessary property, basically, and thrown out. So they need to be working on memorizing stuff before they go in because they're going to have to write your numbers on this sheet of paper that they're turning in for clearance. Okay? Now, it's not like somebody from the prison is going to call you to confirm who you are, to make sure that you're a safe person to call. They just need it for their records. They are going to make them have it. Okay? They're not going to look up numbers for your inmate. Not going to happen. They either know it or they don't. Occasionally they can get some help from another inmate getting a phone number that they've forgotten, and that happens. It's doable. It's okay, but it's better if you know it going in. After they've turned in that piece of paper, expect at least 2 weeks for them to finally get their PIN number, right? Their phone code that they can then dial and use it to call you. You can put money on their phone before they have that number, right? There are a couple ways to do it. Now, this can change per prison. So if this is not the case where you're at, or you're confused, can't figure it out, that's okay. Again, let me know. I'm happy to help you. You can attach money to their account. There's typically a couple different types of accounts that they have. One of them can be used only for the phone, and one of them can be used for commissary and the phone. Something to note, you're not going to get any of that money back. It doesn't matter if you put 10 grand on the wrong account. I meant to send them commissary money. I sent them phone money. You just got ripped off by the prison. Welcome to it. They did it to us a ton of times. It's very confusing, all right? Completely obtuse, and it's easy to make a mistake. So just, if you want to test it out first, put a few bucks on something, make sure that's the right thing, okay? You can get a call from your inmate. You'll have whatever, for $3, you'll get like 5-10 minutes, something like that you can confirm, yes, it worked, and then you can put more money on these accounts. It's expensive. It is expensive to have. Typically, the maximum call length is 15 minutes. A lot of times the inmate will just make the call over and over again, depending if there are people in line behind them or not. But it is expensive, so plan for that. And if you can't accommodate that, that's okay. Not everybody can. I'm just letting you know ahead of time. The account names where I was at was the Flex account. Okay, so what do you think when I say Flex? Strong, flexible, the Flex account. It flexes. Commissary, phone. No. Get that out of your head. The Flex account was the account that was not flexible. That was the one that was only for the phone, okay? So we struggled in the beginning. I wanted money for commissary, to eat food that wasn't full of another inmate's sweat. And so my mom, being the loving, wonderful, strong woman that she is, gets on top of it, puts money in my Flex account. Okay, even if it's the wrong account, it's a Flex account, flexible. He'll put it in the other. Nope, she got tricked. Why is it named that? Don't know. It's not about this resentment I've got towards the weird-ass choice of name from the phone company that the prison uses, whatever. Confirm. Look very carefully when you're choosing which account to place the money on. So like I said, there was the Flex account, and then there was the commissary account. Okay, 2 different deposits that you could make. Oddly enough, the commissary account where I was at was for phones and food. The Flex account was just for phones. If you get money on your commissary account, the inmate can choose how much of that is spent on food or phone or, whatever. Otherwise, the Flex one, that's staying. It doesn't matter how many phone calls you make. I don't need to make this point again. What I'm saying is Just be very, very careful that you're making the right choice with your money so that you can talk to your loved one as soon as possible, and so that your loved one can get the extra food that they will need, because trust me, it's not extra food. It's just enough. Now, some things that I think my parents probably would have liked to have known. And listen, there's a great chance I'm forgetting some stuff. If you've got questions, let me know. But some things that my parents probably would have liked to have known, okay? That I didn't have the wherewithal to tell them because I was experiencing it for the first time. It was so much worse at the place I went to between jail and prison than the place I eventually ended up at, the actual prison, right? So, like I said, you'll see on that website, they're at jail and then they're being transferred. Where are they? They're going to go to a place that was RDC is what mine was called. I believe it stands for Regional Diagnostic Center. That was hell, okay? And then I went to the final prison. You can account for all that. You can see it on the website that I've told you about. I might just have to list a bunch of websites. I don't know. I just feel like I should give you specifics, but I can't name for all 50 states. I will if you want me to. So that was hell. I wish that I had had some hindsight, right, while I was going through it, to write my parents a strong letter saying, it's tough, but I'll be fine. Eventually, I did write that letter, but it took a couple weeks after I'd already written a letter that explained how awful my situation was. So just know, if you've got a young adult that's going to prison in your life and they're terrified, it is terrifying. It is scary, but it gets better quickly, okay? It's never good. It's always prison. But don't get swept up in panic. Okay, I know me saying that might not stop you from doing that, but it feels so much worse than it actually is, okay? And the majority of the awfulness is just in that first period. Okay, that first period can be scary and miserable. After that, they get to their semi-permanent residence. It's basically just mildly uncomfortable and boring, okay? Things will get better. The inmate will get used to being in prison, okay? Now, that sounds awful, and maybe it is, but it's good because they have to get some grit. They have to toughen up while they're in there, and that doesn't mean they got to be turn into a killer. That's not what I'm saying. They're just going to have to learn some techniques to center themselves, and that's okay. So if you feel that your loved one is pulling back from you, or seems quieter than normal, or angrier than normal, or any of that, that is their reaction to their environment, okay? I had to tell my parents that I love you guys, but please stop visiting. Every time that you come visit, it's like I'm running a race, and I see you on the sidelines, and I have to stop and say hi. It had nothing to do with my parents. It had to do with I needed to just keep my head down and do my time, right? They might be acting tough on the phone, whatever it is, because there's people standing behind them that if they smell that weakness, they'll take advantage of the person that you love, okay? So that you do things that you wouldn't normally have to do to come off as okay. And that's just part of it. It's an unfortunate part of it, but it is. So if they sound weird on the phone, whatever it is, they're letters, they sound like they don't give a shit. And I think a lot of times letters are more personal and a little bit more transparent in prison. But whatever, don't think that they've changed forever. They'll never be the person you knew again. That's not true. They will change, okay, but it's not always going to be into some evil, callous person. Visitation. This is something I'm so glad I'm not forgetting. It's difficult, okay? It's probably going to be a bit of a drive to whatever prison you have to go to visit the person that you care about. And if you're a female, if your bra has wires in it, they're probably going to tell you to either, if you're lucky, they'll tell you to take it off and put it back in your car, or they're going to say, sorry, come back in a couple weeks or next week or whatever. You can't visit today, because they think you're bringing in a weapon. Your shirts need to be full, and I don't just mean for women, men with this too. Guys, if you're wearing a bra, no wires, okay? Your shirts need to be intact. Not a lot of cleavage showing, guys, if you're wearing, cool Ed Hardy shirts and there's slits in the arm, gotta go. It's gotta be a full shirt. Honestly, if you need to look like a dweeb, look like a dweeb. If your pants show a lot of badonkadonk, tuck it in. Basically, if you can go wearing scrubs a lot of times, you can't be, whatever guard is there that day is going to have to decide how sexually appealing you are. And if they find you sexually appealing, there's a chance that they'll tell you you can't visit today. So dress down. I know if you're visiting your husband or your wife, a lot of times you want to make yourself look really good because you don't get to see him all the time. You want to have that a bit of romance at least. It's not always the best idea because you can be told, sorry, come back next time. And that's so upsetting to be all these emotions swirling, building up for this visit, and then, nope, sorry, try again next time. It's just can be a bummer. So bras, no wires, flip-flops, you better have socks on. You probably need to just wear shoes anyways. Standard shoes, high heels, they're not going to let in. I think jeans and khakis are okay. Sometimes shorts are an issue. I mean, my mom got sent out, I think, at least once, if not twice, for something that was like, what? She's a realtor, and she was dressed like a realtor, and they're like, oh, lady, god damn, take that outside. It's crazy. Just plan on dressing plainly with no intentions other than to just be comfortable. Just make yourself as physically comfortable as possible. Plan on getting patted down. The inmates will be strip searched. Plain and simple, they're going to get all the way naked. You will not have to do that, but you will get patted down. You might get breathalyzed. You're going to be waiting a long time too. So if your visit is at 2 p.m., whatever, and if you get there right at 2, you can stay between 2 and 4. It's a good visit, a 2-hour visit. Get there before 2 a.m. Again, the system is so slow. I just want to set you up for success. I don't want you to be as disappointed as we had to be sometimes. The visitation rooms a lot of times will have vending machines, okay? Now you guys have to literally raise your hand and like ask to get up and get food, but bring quarters, okay? If you bring dollar bills, there's no way to get change. There's not a change machine, and the guards are not going to make change for you. Bring quarters. Lots and lots of quarters. This is going to be one of the best opportunities really that you guys have to spend together, but one of the best opportunities your inmate has for decent food. I know you fit vending machine food, decent food. Yes, I swear to you, I would eat the burger that I could get out of those vending machines today, okay? I have an emotional bond with that burger that I got frozen out of a vending machine and heated up in a prison microwave because it was so much better than anything I was having, okay? Quarters. Dress appropriately for visits. What else? What else? General piece of advice. Plan on keeping your hands out of the struggle your inmate is having, okay? A lot of times, if you get involved with a problem, you know that they're being picked on, let's say, by another inmate or something. The worst thing you can do is try to fix that problem for them by calling a counselor, okay? Which you don't have a direct number, but calling the prison. That's about the worst thing you can do. Whatever, they're supposed to be in this class and they got sent to that class, because sometimes there's drug rehabilitation classes. Some prisons still offer an opportunity to get a GED, that sort of thing. You call, try to really voice your concern that they should be in this and that. There are some spiteful employees at prisons that will say, yeah, your mom wasted my time, so you're not going to get in that class at all. Like, seriously, crazy stuff. Nuts. People end up real burnout at that job. If they don't have a passion for working with those that have struggled enough to end up incarcerated, they are going to get burnt out super quick. God, I know I'm going to think of some stuff. That I've forgotten to say. What else? So the quarters, visitation, this, that, and the other. Let me know if you have questions in the comments. If this has been helpful to you, leave a like, give a sub, whatever. Again, if you need help finding any of these websites, even phone numbers if I can, whatever, any questions of yours that I didn't answer, leave below. I will get to them, whether that means I make another video or I just answering the comments. That guarantee I will get to them. So take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful day. I do hope that this has been helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.